Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here today. Excited to get into the latest and greatest Integrative Health Coach Success podcast, where today's topic is going to be bringing you forward from the last 19 or so shows, where on all of the even numbers, we are bringing you the systems, the software, the hiring, the best practices in order to essentially take your business from scratch and build it into really a business that you can be proud of financially, with your independence, your freedom, working with the right clients, getting in front of the right people. So that's what we've been doing on literally all of the episodes before this. And then you know that on the odd numbers, that's where we do our interviews. So our interviews are taking you through now people that are actually implementing these same systems in their business, and you get to hear about all of their success. Now, the difference with the Integrative Health Coach Success podcast is that you're hearing from real people, real practitioners in the real world. We're not just, we're going after celebrities like the top, 1% of everybody. We're really showing you, hey, these are real people. They do it every day. This is how they do it. You definitely want to tune in. And it's really nice because as you start to hear similarities, you're absolutely going to want to say, okay, this is what most of the successful people are doing. Why don't I try to emulate this success? And I've always done that through my career. It's like I get a lot of different advice, and then I say, well, what was the similarities through all of that advice? Okay, that's most likely something I need to cue into. And even if I don't agree with it, well, there's something to it because all these successful people are doing it. Let me start to think about it a little bit differently. Well, today we've got one of these topics as well. And this is something really important that, okay, maybe you don't do it when you're first starting out, but I'm going to tell you this. If you get into bad habits early, it's going to come back to bite you because you're going to have to do all of this later on like I had to. I'm going to share that story with you. It wasn't a disaster, but it certainly was not good, and it held me back for quite some time. So this is the ability. And especially now, again, 2021, 2022, 2025, 2030, you need to have everything digitized. Okay. Well, what exactly does that mean? So let's say this, and really, what are we going to talk about here today? We're talking about your contracts, okay, your waivers, liability waivers. We're talking about your invoices. We're talking about your programs. We're talking about your programs, your wellness plans, like whatever you're doing as a nutritionist, doctor, personal trainer, integrative health practitioner, health coach, you name it, whatever it might be. You have to have a way to have everything digitized. And honestly, you should be able to grab it within maximum 20 seconds, maybe even less. So if you were to say to me right now, and you were to pull up literally, let's just say, like I'm going to make up, I'm going to actually start from scratch. So right now you're going to ask me, okay, let's say you have a client named, well, let's just use my name. So Stephen Cabral, okay? Because I have a folder myself. I'm going to go directly into my digital folder, which I'm going to give you a bunch of names on. I'm going to type in my name, and I'm going to go directly under wellness clients. I found my name, and inside now of my name, I have all of my different charts and everything that I need, labs, etc. So if a client ever asks you the same, you're going to be literally within 10 seconds, and they're going to be extremely impressed because not only are you a professional in your knowledge, you're a professional in how you're running your business. And in the drop, literally of a dime, I can send you your labs. I can send you your latest protocol that we just completed, so you can do it on your own. And that's, well, again, I'll talk about that in our practice too, how we used to do that. Whatever you need, I can pull up from my own knowledge on a phone call. And also, I've been out of the office before, and someone's saying to me, can you find the lab for this person, or this person's requesting this, or what do you think about this? And I'll just pull up the folder and I'll say, oh, okay, based on these lab results, this is what I would do. I've done this everywhere in the world that you could imagine, all over Europe, Australia. I've been to Central America and in certain places, and literally have had to do this, and I can do it all from my phone because my same digitized forms are in the cloud, and they are across my laptop, they're across my phone, my iPad, wherever I need them. But there's much more to this, and that's what I want to go about that today. So you have to understand is that I started and still am, I am very much a pen and paper person when it comes to note-taking for a client in my integrative health practice. Okay, so when I'm talking with someone and everything is virtual, so we run a completely virtual virtual practice as of 2018. So in 2018, we went, towards the end of that year, I went completely virtual. 2019 was completely virtual. So what I did though, was before that, until 2018, I had some pretty large practices, okay? And we're talking about thousands and thousands of clients. And all of those people had folders. Every single one of those folders was, the intake was already digitized. I'll teach you exactly how to do that. I'll actually give you a couple links here today. But all of their notes were handwritten because I am someone whose mind thinks things out on paper. And I also think that it's more engaging if you can look at the person, listen to their story, and take some notes in shorthand. That's what I do. That's what I prefer. If you're always typing and you're not looking at the person who came into you for their intake, you have to understand there's not a lot of relationship building there. There's not a lot of active listening. You're typing the entire time. It's annoying to the other person. So what I do and have done is I take notes. And then what I do after that is I have that scanned in. Very simple. You can just use your phone with an app like TurboScan. I'll put that in there as well. I use TurboScan. Creates a PDF, goes right in there. It goes right in their folder. Very simple. But what happened when I had thousands upon thousands of all their different intakes and their notes inside of these folders? I actually had to hire someone, and it took them 6 weeks at full-time work at $10 to $16 an hour. I was paying them, I think it was probably like $14 or something. And that is what they did. For 6 weeks, they just scanned in everything and put them inside of these folders that I'm about to tell you about now. So my recommendation, though, is to start this now. Then when you do a client appointment, and let's see, and you have their form right here afterwards, or your handwritten notes on it, if you're watching this on video, then all you do at the end of that appointment or end of the day is it will take you no more than 30 seconds to scan those in, to put the person's name on and the date. Always write the date of the appointment on it, so that when you look back and you've met with this person a dozen times, you're like, oh, here was their intake of how they're doing from 3 months ago. This is their very first one from 6 months ago. This one is from last month, and this one's from today. So you get to see the progression, and then you get to look way back and be like, wow, when you first came in, do you remember you used to have knee pain and you used to have bloating and you used to get headaches? Like, I don't even remember that. Wow, I don't have that anymore. And you can say like, hey, it's right there. How are these things now? And all of these things have begun to disappear based on them rebalancing their body. So hopefully you're not in my position where you have thousands upon thousands of clients that you never scanned in. The good news was that we had all of their intakes and their liability, actually the liability waivers weren't scanned in. They signed them that day when they came in, but their intake was done online from an online form, and all of their labs were online. So at least we had that, and then we just found them all and put them in these folders, but we also had to scan the liability waivers, plus we would scan their specific intakes. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of different examples. This is really, really important that we do this. I'm going to use it for, let's say, the like the personal trainer or the nutritionist-based industry, like registered dietitians. I know we have a lot of registered dietitians listening. And then I'm going to do one for integrative health practitioners, or IHPs, as well as other health coaches, doctors, etc. So let's do the wellness professionals first. So first things first, if you're a personal trainer, then you don't need to worry about this. But for health coaches, you don't necessarily have to be HIPAA compliant because you are not sharing any medical-based forms, okay? So that's I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, so I can't tell you whether you need to be or not. But if you're a health coach practicing health education only, then the HIPAA laws are probably not going to apply to you because you're not doing anything medically related. But if you start to have a wellness client's blood work or something medically related, okay, well, now that falls under HIPAA. Now, here's the nice thing, though. You can use very simple software and still be HIPAA compliant if you choose to. So we now have our own HIPAA compliant software that we started about 2 years ago. But before that, we would use Dropbox, HIPAA compliant Dropbox. So now, again, you might be listening to this show 2 years from when the show came out, and maybe they're not HIPAA compliant anymore. But you can definitely find a HIPAA compliant cloud service. And Dropbox is a great one that many of our IHPs use. And it's a whole $99 a year. That's it. So it costs you, $8 or so per month, not even $8 per month. But $8 per month. So when you look at that, that's a great investment, right? So now you're protecting yourself in terms of liability with HIPAA compliance, and you keep everything inside of Dropbox. Dropbox to me is the best of the best. I love Dropbox more than all the others because of simplicity of use. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we used it. And we still use it to this day in different regards for different things. But what you want to do is you want to create templates, or you want to create folders based on your type of client. So let's say you are both a personal trainer and you're a integrative health practitioner, or whatever it might be. You could have all of your personal training clients, then you could have all of your wellness clients or your health coaching clients, okay? So you can do that and kind of, okay, you've got 25 personal training clients. Okay, they're in that folder. And then let's say you've got 25 health coaching clients. Great, they're in that folder. Now, for your health coaching clients, this is exactly what we do. You want to label the folder as their full name, okay? In the beginning, it's easy. Oh, I've got my client Terry, I've got my client Mark, I've got my client Ann. Easy, right? But that will start to grow, trust me. So you always want to do first and last name, all right? This makes it ease of use. Plus, I'll tell you in a minute, you want the searchability function. It's huge, and it's going to save you so much time. Okay, so you label the folder with the client's name. Okay, so then what you want to do from there then is you want to create subfolders inside of this. And the subfolders that you want to have are, first and foremost, you want your waiver, okay? If your waiver is done online, fantastic. Just export it as a PDF, and then you're going to save it there. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but some will, some won't. So I'm going to give it to the people who don't, because I didn't always know this. One of the ways that you can save any document as a PDF is when you go to print it, instead of selecting your printer, select save as a PDF, okay, or export as a PDF, and that will save it as a PDF. Of course, you can buy Adobe PDF software, but it's typically not needed if you have a newer laptop. Pretty much anything will allow you to do that. So really, really easy to do. I mean, again, TurboScan allows you to do it too. So easy to do, easy to use. All right, so you always want to copy that liability waiver just for your own liability-based protection. It basically says you're providing health education-based advice, empowering them to make the best decisions for them. You're not providing medical advice. You're not providing any diagnosis of disease, no cures, no treatment protocols. Please see your primary care physician or medical specialist for that, right? So you go through that, you have them sign off on that, and you are good to go. We have some examples of that inside of IHP. Please always, though, check with your attorney on that, or even do something like legal downloads. But for asking your attorney, that might be $150, $200, whatever it might be, just be like, hey, can you proof these forms and make sure that I'm good to go? As a kind of a startup to your business, create an LLC for, I'll talk about this in the future, $450. Get an attorney to proof all of your forms for 1 or 2 hours of work might be like $300. And yes, it's money in the beginning, but for like $1,000 total dollars for everything like software and LLC and these types of things, now you have an actual business, right? And there's a layer of protection. So I want to save that for a different podcast. I'm actually going to make a note of it right now that we should go over a legal-based podcast. Of course, it won't be legal advice because I'm not an attorney, but we'll talk about the LLC. We'll talk about the liability forms and how to find an attorney in your area. Okay. All right. So what I do is I have the client name, then I have their waiver, their liability waiver, and then I have their intake form, and that's in their own folders. Now, I know that they don't really need their own folder because really it's only going to be one form in each, but here's what we're getting to. If you have forms and then you have folders and everything's jumbled together, you just want folders, okay? You just want folders. So your next folder is going to be, I told you, the intake questionnaire. After that, you want their labs. So if you're a health coach, an integrative health practitioner, you're a level 2, you want to put a labs folder, okay? And then we typically do it now by the date. So labs 2020, labs 2021, labs 2022, however you want to do it, right? You put the labs and then the year, because people are going to do their big 5 every single year. They're going to do their follow-ups every single year. And you should do it, obviously, for yourself as well. You can put a folder on yourself. After that, you're going to put in wellness plans. And if you see the person a lot, well, you can do it by year if you want. If not, I always just label the plan as, the client's name or last name, and then the date. And so and I always put label because it's the label that goes in their nutritional supplement box and all that. So then I put the date. And so I can easily search that by date. That's it. So I know which plan they're currently on. And of course, I always confirm that with them. So now this is super simple. So now you can see when I get a email or something from, or I actually don't check email, but if I get a Slack from our amazing admin assistant for our practice, and they say, hey, this person, and it might be a private concierge client, would love to get your feedback on this particular lab. I just say, okay. I look at it. I go inside the labs for this year. I already know the lab name. I click on it, and then I say, oh, interesting. Yeah, their hemoglobin A1C actually jumped up 0.2 points from a 5.5 to a 5.7. This is really interesting. I haven't seen them in 4 months of my practice. Okay, make sure we make an appointment within the next 2 to 4 weeks if I have an opening, because I want to see what's changed in their exercise, in their nutrition, in their fasting, like all the different things, all the questions I would go through that I'm not going to just get through email. So you can see how quick and easy this is. And again, what if your client asks you for one of their labs? What do you need to do? You just go right into Dropbox. Again, HIPAA compliant, if you choose that for yourself and you feel that you need it. And then you're just going to say, oh, they needed their minerals and metals test. Okay, all we do is literally click on it. Don't open, just click on it once. And then we're just going to say send to, and send it right to their email as a PDF. Super simple, super easy. And so just again, this is a professional way of doing it. And if you do this from the beginning and you have a team, if you teach them to do it, it's simple for everybody. And then if someone takes over for another person, well, what do? They already know where everything is. Remember, as you begin to scale and grow a business, and I'll be talking about that on next week's show, you really need to have systems in place. And this is a really nice system. For personal training clients, forever, I used to write out all the program cards. And if I was a personal trainer, I still would to this day, because I'm old school and I love it. I really do. Like I enjoy doing that. But what I do is then, of course, I digitize them. And so way back in the day, believe it or not, I'll be talking about this on next week's show. I actually would have someone come in and file all of these in their folder, and I would file them by date. Now, was it as efficient back in the early 2000s? No, but all of this stuff didn't really exist. And so what I would do, though, is I would have their programs by date, and I could just take out the program and I could make a photocopy. And that took 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds, but they could at least get it. But of course, now people would love to be able to travel with it without that piece of paper. And what can you do if you're a personal trainer that still likes to write out your programs? Well, the thing is, and again, I would type them out, but then I would write in all their different weights and reps, etc. So then I would just, again, use TurboScan, or back in the day, I would have to use the scanner on my printer. But again, it's easy enough now to digitize that, put it under client name, have their liability waiver scanned in case it ever gets lost, take their intake questionnaire, because again, everyone should fill out a PARQ. I haven't said that word in a long time. Physical Assessment Readiness Questionnaire. I think it's PARQ. I haven't said that in a million years. That was fun to go back and have my brain jogged to that for back in the day. But then I would have that. So their PARQ. And then I would have all of their programs, just their last name if you want. If you have multiple people with the same last name, you can do their full name, but always get the date in there. That's the important part, because then you know which program it was. Most programs for a lot of personal trainers are going to last 4 weeks, 6 weeks, somewhere around there. And then you could add their wellness plan if you also have them on a nutrition plan or a wellness plan. And this is also great for registered dietitians and other coaches as well. And then if they're a health coaching client, you could create a separate folder in health coaching outside of the personal training. So you can have the two separate. And again, they're bundled under all of your personal training clients, or all of your dietitian clients, and all of your health coaching clients, however you want to do it. But I'm telling you right now, this is the way to do it. Without a doubt, if you don't do it this way, people are going to then compare you to other people that are kind of more, moving into the 2020s, right? And they're a little bit more savvy with tech. But the truth is, you just want to be a professional in all ways. And you want to be able to help out your clients as quickly and seamlessly and easily as possible, while at the same time saving yourself time. So if a client asks for, hey, what's the last program we did? I really liked when we were doing this, and this workout. Okay, just go on your phone. You go back 2 programs ago. Oh, I have it right here. Oh yeah, we did this, and this exercise. They're like, wow, that's amazing that you have that and that you remember that. That's so great. And then you say, hey, do you want a copy of that? And they're like, I'd love to be able to do that for a Saturday workout on my own. Boom. You send that to them. gets there right as a PDF. And again, you made your client happy. Where are they going to go? What other professional is going to provide that type of service, right? So it's really all about going above and beyond, really, as they say, kind of under promising and over delivering for all of your clients. So I'm going to link up some of the tools that we use. Dropbox, HIPAA compliant is definitely one of them. Of course, we have our own software now. That's a great one. Then you can use a bunch of others, but I'm just going to give you the ones that I use. TurboScan is the other one. And I think we'll keep it at that for today because that's what I use. Oh, and I'll link up also the questionnaire that I use in my private practice for health coaching clients that you can adopt for personal training or for anything as well. So I'll link all those up. So that's 3 links for you. Head on over to ihp.coach/020 for all those links and all the show notes. All right, take care, everyone. Have an amazing day, and I will talk with you next week on another Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast.